As I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then storming winds go too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done, but the time is hit you, you're not surprised.
Real story. Like I was playing this record for a friend of mine, you know what I'm saying? We was just chilling. I was just playing on the album and like she was like, yo, I love the record. Record is incredible. But, you know, something's different. You know what I'm saying? Something, it just ain't the same. I said, nigga, that's the point. My mama told me that this music was cool.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Snort Burnell, Dspgaming, shoutouts of the purest pigroach style. Now, Phil has been really trying to engage his fan base and trying to really get them to come to his side and really try to understand where he comes from. Phil may be considered in most ways, or in some ways, well, in some ways and most ways, as a rather tormented artist. Someone whose art, as he has said, and his freedom of expression, and him speaking his mind, has warped what people perceive of him over the years. And he's never been able to get over that at all. He's tried. He didn't mean what he said. It was misinterpreted. It was taken out of context. But yet people still hate him. And he really wishes that people could just rally towards him. He really wishes that people wouldn't put so much time going against him and actually worked with him. But the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, is Phil always has a knife in one hand while he's patting you with the other. And I don't want to tell you what's on the hand that he's patting you with. I really wouldn't. So how do you trust a man like that? Phil is not a gamer. Phil doesn't even like games anymore. It's hard to say if he ever did outside of Street Fighter or anything that was easy. Phil is a professional shit talker. Not a good one, but that's what he does. He wants to be able to talk about whatever it is that he's doing and get paid for it. He wants to be paid for his opinions, basically. Could go to BuzzFeed or something. But that's what Phil does. That's what he has. The problem is he's gone about it wrong. And he can't transition anymore. He's too lazy. He really is. He's just way too lazy to do that. Even though it's just sitting on his ass talking, he would be forced to actually write some stuff down. He would be forced to actually interact with other people. He would be forced to actually clean himself up. Phil can't do that. But enough of that. Let's actually go through, see what the video consists of, and we'll make our judgments then. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Networking Productions. You guys all know the slogan. It's time to watch me work. Oh yeah.
Absolutely disgusting.
Wow.
Sound good?
Sounds great.
Shout out!
Alright guys, we're here with Snort Burnell, Dspgaming, addressing the shoutouts at the purest pigroach style. Yeah. Here we go.
King Swaggin's cheer again. He says, "What's poppin', dog? You good? How's life treating you?" It's been a little tight here with time with my girlfriend Kat because we've been trying to balance our work life, and it's tough. It really is tough because
Work life. All right, we're gonna roll with this. We're gonna roll with it.
for example, there's stuff she wants to do outside of just work, but the timing of it doesn't necessarily work because a lot of times her work schedule doesn't coincide with the stuff she wants to do, which sucks. We only get 1 day a week together.
Oh boy. Let's see, ladies and gentlemen, this right here is gonna be the this is laying down the groundwork for somebody else to slide right in. It really is. You're gonna go ahead, first off, she wants to do more than work. She wants to actually have a relationship, allegedly. But Phil wants to spend all of his time making money and using her as merely window dressing, or let's be fair about it if you want to do that, and just using her as a way to drum up sympathy. She wants more. There's more to life than that. That's what he said. That's what he said a couple nights ago, where he said that there was more than life than just money. When Cryotic had a bunch of, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, had a bunch of his fans raid Phil's stream for that last, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. And Phil didn't want to stick around because he hadn't seen his girlfriend all day and he wanted to bail. Keep in mind also, she only works 4 days, if I remember correctly. Phil says she works Monday through Thursday. So that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You're telling me that you couldn't work Monday through Friday, Phil? I shudder to call what you do work, and then just take Saturday and Sunday off, or work, or Jesus Christ, or have just a short stream day on Saturday and then spend Saturday evening and Sunday with her? No? All right then. Well, one of two things happens. Either A, she gets on that Overwatch, gets consumed by the toxicity that's going on over there, bully hunter, and then goes ahead and picks up drinking, or B, Phil's going to lose another one, just like he lost to Panda. And I got to tell you, Phil, to lose two women in the exact same way, I don't know if the detractor community is going to be able to hold itself. I don't know if the detractor community is going to be able to hold itself if that happens to you. I mean, you've been talking about doing these redemption runs all year, and I feel like this relationship is going to end. It's going to end badly for you if you keep doing what you're doing. But you don't see it because you know everything, and you know what you're doing. For your sake, I hope so. Because if not, boy, if Cat ends up getting that Panda treatment, Tyrone slides in, catches her at work, gets her out there for a couple drinks, catch her in the bathroom with that long stroke. That's going to be the end of that. Then all of a sudden, she's going to say she needs to put in that overtime. Oh, she's going to be putting that overtime in, all right. Oh my gosh. I hope you don't mind the rug burns on her knees, Phil. Just saying. Some guys out here play rough.
So it's a little frustrating in that regard because we do get a little bit of time every day, Sometimes we see each other in the morning. Sometimes we see each other, we always see each other around dinner time. We have dinner and have a little bit of time to...
We always see each other around dinner time. Phil. Phil. I'm sure there's more to this young lady than what she performs in the kitchen for you. I would hope. Let's continue.
Together then, and at the end of the day, we usually have a little bit of time. But for the most part, it's not like we don't get a significant chunk of time to spend together on weekdays when we're both working. So it's really those days off that we get that are significant. But what we find ourselves doing a lot of the times during the days off is running around all day. Oh, this is our one day together, so we got to go do this. We got to go do this. We got to go do this. And the next thing you know, the day's over and we're exhausted. We're like, son of a bitch,
That's not a day off. That's not spending a day with each other. I don't know how you correlate those being the same thing. You should be smarter. You should be smarter than that, but I might be giving you too much credit.
No.
This is how it is. This is how adult life is. Duh, guys, don't listen to me and say, "Oh man, Phil's bitching about his life." This is how adult life is. Basically, here's a whiny baby.
Especially a busy adult life when you got a working couple like us, where both of us work constantly and we're doing this stuff. That's how life is.
A working couple. Almighty Tevin was right. If she heard that, she should feel insulted. She really should. She really should. Because she has to, like Almighty Tevin said, she has to go to a job that she probably doesn't like very much and puts in hours around people who she may or may not like, while Phil sits on his ass, drinks his energy drinks, collects his bits and cheers and stuff, and plays video games all day. How do you see how could you even compare what you do to what she does? That makes no sense. It's extremely disrespectful. Whatever.
Eventually we're hoping for a better balance. And quite frankly, I am hoping eventually, in the next couple of months, once things settle in a little bit more, maybe we could take a little bit of time off. Maybe take like 2-3 days off from streaming for me, where we could go do something together significant, rather than just having one day off a week. That's kind of, goes by turbo speed. So we'll see. We'll see. Right now, there's no plans for that simply because I'm so busy with everything going on. But we'll see what happens with that.
Oh my.
And Snort Burnell's right. How are you going to pull a vacation or a staycation off when you have all this debt piled up? And if I remember to, I will link Gout Police. I'll link his video in my description where it basically shows the telltale patterns of Phil when he's preparing for another staycation. It lays out all in this video. Nice, clean package. So if I remember to, I'll put it in the description so you guys can check it out.
Yeah, excuse me. It's disgusting, in my opinion. It's immoral.
Shout out to the Aston Martin. He cheered. He said, "Will you be watching the Street Fighter reality show called E-League, The Challenger on TBS? Or would you ever consider participating in a gaming show like that?" No.
I'm actually going to watch the hell out of that shit. Low Tier God's on there. Tasty Steve's up there. There's a bunch of people up there. I mean, Tasty Steve's one of the hosts. That should be a good show. Because one, obviously you're going to see Low Tier God ham it up. Two, I'm anxious. I can't remember who it is. It's probably a couple people, honestly. But I know Low Tier God in particular has talked shit about one of them people in that house. Like, he went hard in the paint on that person. So, supposedly they're going to confront him. So that should be good. Another thing, too, if you guys, I'm not sure if you guys are keeping up with the FGC recently, but Low Tier God is currently in a bit of a confrontation with Ultra David. Not sure if you know who Ultra David is, but he's been around. He usually does commentary with James Chen and whatnot. A lot of Street Fighter stuff. He's good at what he does, and they've been beefing a lot, at least recently. Actually, let me go ahead and give you guys some more FGC news. Not sure if you guys are keeping up with it, but you guys can find it on Twitter. What's our boy's name? Papa Valle, or Alex Valle. He is currently, or he was at the time, I should say, he was in a bit of an argument with what's that guy's name? Is it Mike Watson? If you guys don't know who he is, Mike Watson was the one who called DSP a piece of shit many years ago. The clip still gets circulated now and whatnot, and he talks about how Phil ended up getting fourth at Evo and thought he was the best US player in the world. That's who Mike is. Anyway, apparently Alex Valle and Mike are having some problems, and all of it stems around Wednesday night fights, apparently. So that might be very interesting in its own right. I might report on that further if I get around to it. But things got a little bit heated there for a while. Anyway, hey, any news that's out there, you got to report on it, right? DSP News.
Not only will I not be watching a staged reality show, because that's
but I'm definitely going to watch that. And if Low Tier God plays his cards right, who knows where he could go from here. So, and that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to draw attention to the FGC and whatnot. This is a pretty good way of doing it. It is what it is.
exactly what all those reality shows are. They're all staged. I would not participate in one. Years and years ago, when I...
No, like Snort Burnell's like, scammers know a lot about staging situations. That's true. Shots fired, though, but that's true.
I was very popular on YouTube. I was invited to be on, what was it called? The Ultimate Gamer, which was the original gaming reality TV show from back in the day. We're talking upwards of 8 years ago. I forget if I was invited in 2009 or 2010. But I was invited, and I said, no, I don't want to be on your show. I know it's going to be just scripted, staged reality shows like all these crappy reality shows, and I hate that. So they went out and they got Justin Wong. And Justin Wong ended up being on one of the seasons of the show. Because what it is, they wanted a fighting game player. And they knew that I was, at the time, I was one of the biggest and most controversial fighting game players on the internet, and they wanted me for the show because of that. But I declined, so then they got Justin instead. I'm sure they probably offered it to a bunch of people, and then Justin was finally the one who accepted. So,
that's interesting, too, in its own right. First off, I mean, off Justin's talent alone and what he's done for the FGC, he's beloved worldwide, while Phil is just kind of just dog shit that's at the bottom of your shoe. It's funny, though, how Phil would pass up on such opportunities, and look at him now. And it's kind of funny because I'm revising, I should say, an older video that I had done talking about DSP Street Fighter. If you guys don't know what that is, it was a relic from Phil's older days where he used to put all of his Street Fighter content on. And Phil told us an interesting story years and years and years ago. I saw it on an Almighty Tevin video where Phil was like, Machinima, this is back when he was with Machinima, obviously, had him in a conference call, and they were like, hey, Street Fighter 4 is coming out. It was the first time Street Fighter was online. It was extremely successful, and Machinima was trying to basically start off its own competitive Street Fighter type of thing, and they needed people to commentate. They needed people to do play-by-play and so on and so forth. And they didn't say that to Phil, but that's what the plan was. I know it was. And they asked Phil if he would be interested. And when they brought Phil into this interview, Phil was like, well, I do have all this experience and I am a former champion and so on and so forth, but I thought you guys were here to talk about my YouTube channel. And because Phil couldn't see the signals that they were throwing at him, and he couldn't see the big picture, the conversation immediately stalled. And for good reason, because you don't waste your breath on someone who can't pick up what you're putting down unless they're worth the time. And Phil wasn't, to be honest. So that ended up going nowhere. They entertained him for another 15-20 minutes on his YouTube channel and what some of his ideas were for it. And that was it. They never got him into a conference call again. It's a really old video. I'm gonna see if I can drum it back up. But it gave you some insight on, yet again, Phil talks about his business acumen, and yet he completely missed an opportunity to be on the forefront. Most of you guys might not see where I'm going with this, but give me a second. Let's take, for all of you guys who are wrestling heads out there, take Jerry the King Lawler. At least back in his early days. He was the person that you want to hate. You know what I'm saying? Especially with his feud with Bret Hart back in the 90s. And as a commentator, as a color commentator is really what he is. Him and Jim Cornette in a lot of ways. They were at the top of their game. You know what I mean? You're talking about two people, one who was a wrestler, the other one who occasionally took bumps, but both of them were historians of the game. You know what I mean? And even now, Jim Cornette obviously more than Jerry the King, but you're talking about someone like a Jerry the King Lawler, who is considered one of the greatest talents that wrestling has ever had, especially in Kentucky, Nashville, back in the old school territories. And even though he was a great heel, or a great babyface, I'm sorry, he was an even better heel. You know what I mean? He's great for that, and you could see a lot of that when he did a lot of that banter with Vince McMahon early on, and then later on with Jim Ross and whatnot, which is what makes him and Jim Ross a great 1-2 punch. Or they were a great 1-2 punch, I should say. Point being is he brought a type of color commentary in. He made people want to hate him, but you had to respect him. Phil, he wouldn't have had that, but he could have been that person in commentary who you hate him, but you love to hate him. You know what I mean? And he could have had, and then you stick him with one or two other people at a commentator booth, and he would probably be able to make shit happen. Granted, most of it would be written down for him, and he'd have to improvise the rest because Phil has no imagination. But it could have been something. It could have been a great move at a time when Street Fighter was really coming up, and where a lot of the commentators that you know and love now cut their teeth on. He could have been at the forefront of that, and with Machinima backing him up, and he just missed the opportunity, which is a shame, to be honest with you. It's one of the great blunders, in my personal opinion, it was one of the great blunders that he just never took advantage of, and it could have been something amazing. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to revise that Street Fighter video. I'm going to probably completely redo it, and I'll go into that further, and it might be an interesting listen if you guys, remember Street Fighter back in those days and whatnot. I'll use a lot of wrestling, a lot of wrestling cues and references to kind of express my point. But Phil could have been something, basically. He really could have, and he could have expanded his fan base. He, not just, people who think he's the underdog and whatever dumb shit that is, but more importantly, he's the person that you love to hate. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that with the detractor community. It could have been something completely different. Like the way I saw it, or at least the way I had imagined it, the scheme could have been It could have been a great scheme if he had played his cards right, but it is what it is.
So there you go. But no, I would never be on one of those crappy reality shows. Hell no.
Since 2008, when I started on YouTube, that's who I've been. The honest guy. No.
King Swaggin's cheered. He says you either die a fan or live long enough to see yourself become a detractor. You know what's sad? I hate to say this. I do. But it seems to me what happens a lot is...
You got people who just cannot stay out of the drama. Alright, and this is real talk. There's people who just can't stay out of the fucking drama.
Even though, if you just hang out on my streams and have fun with me every day, it's a very positive and fun experience. But then if you allow yourself to...
Having fun means giving him money?
You get sucked into the toxic toilet of the internet, which has all this negative stuff about me constantly that's all slander and nonsense, okay? All this defamatory stuff that's so ridiculous. The other day, someone put out a video saying I rage quit Extinction when I'm one of the few people...
Shouts out to Memology 101 for that. That shit was great.
who actually beat the game on the internet. Ridiculous, right? That's the kind of crap they put out about me on a daily basis. But if you let yourself get sucked...
I'll link that video in my description too if I remember. But that was... Phil actually had that on his Twitter. That's another thing too. Phil blocked me on Twitter, and I've never even tweeted at Phil. That's insane. And it's not just me either. There's a few other people that I'm cool with on Twitter who just instantly got blocked out of nowhere. I don't even follow Phil, nor would I need to. And he blocked, he just blocked a bunch of us on Twitter all of a sudden. Oh, absolutely amazing. I still can't see his tweets. You're such an idiot, Phil.
Into it. Next thing you know, now you're in the chats of them and everything. And then you find yourself, oh no, you do something wrong, you get into trouble, and now, oh, well, I want to be associated with something, so I'm going to join the detractors now. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously. What kind of a mindset is that? And that's sad. Oh, I really support Phil. He's great. I love the free content he puts out. Oops, I went out of my way to do something really stupid. I got banned from his chat, so now I'm going to become his most heated enemy. It's like, what? And the thing is, a lot of times, I'm not even involved with the crap.
Well, what did you expect him to do? Isn't that how, Kojima World Order started? They're former fans of his or whatnot, and he did just dumb shit, or he banned a bunch of them, or a little bit of both. And that's how they kind of formed up. I mean, to be honest with you, a new detractor is kind of born every day, to be honest with you, in more ways than one. And so let me try to get this straight, Phil. Someone who's been a fan of yours purposely goes out of his or her way to get you pissed off. That makes sense. And you ban them, and they're supposed to just fade away. Why would they do that? Because if they've invested as much time into you as you say they do, well, then they need another outlet. So there you go. There's no need to waste it. I mean, as you know, energy is not wasted. It just transfers from one place to another. So it is what it is. Same concept. I mean, maybe if you just treated the people over there better, maybe you wouldn't have that problem. No one steps out of their way to shit on you unless that was their main intention. That should be kind of obvious. It's the internet. It's what happens. But you treat it like every little thing that's done as a slander against you. And, as you're about to say, because I cut you off, you said you weren't even involved in it. Well, you could have stopped it. You could have intervened on that person's behalf. You've said it yourself that if you feel like you've been unnecessarily banned, contact me, let me know the situation, I'll look into it, and I can probably get you unbanned. You've said that. So how many people have sent emails to, was it darksidephil@hotmail.com and never got a response? Just saying.
But sometimes I am. I had a moderator in here who literally was going into the chats of people who he knew that he should not be associating with. He was saying, hurtful stuff about me constantly. He was trying to convince people not to support me. He was unbanning people in the stream chat who were getting banned on purpose so he could go laugh it up with them and yuck it up behind the scenes that he was unbanning people doing bad things in the chat. And then he wonders why he's permanently banned and he can't come back. It's like, well, you're really stupid. But, logical people, intelligent people, don't do that kind of shit. The bottom line is it's just immature people who are looking for drama, seek drama where they can find it. And if you can't find it in my stream because I'm pretty much weeding out all the drama on my streams these days, you go find it somewhere else. So there you go. If you're here for the drama, well, then you're here for the wrong reason. You know what I mean? Do you want to play the fucking game?
By the way, we've got someone who is gifting me a ton of subs today. Or at least he's gifting a ton of subs to other people. And so the sub count is going up right now. I don't know who this is. I think it's Kulu Yaku. Kalbasa cheers and look here, look, listen. I guess that's the new detractor meme or something stupid. I don't know and I don't care. Alleyway full of penne. That was delicious.
Kojima World Order is now subscribed to the channel. Even though they don't exist. Very nice. Fred Fox is now subscribed to the channel. Yes, Fred Fox. Yes, very nice.
Shout out to Jose Cuervo 527 who subscribed to the channel. Thank you, Jose Cuervo, for the sub.
So obviously this person who's gifting all these subs is I mean, obviously they're helping, but they're also trolling at the same time. So, whatever.
They're not helping, because in a month you'll be right back to the you'll be right back in steady decline. It's just a minor buzz. It won't last. So it is what it is on that. And more importantly, like, Phil, you could have taken a lot of those troll tiers, and I've been saying this for a while now. When people used to send him troll tiers, all he had to do was read it, thank you for the money, and keep it moving. But he wanted to get butthurt about it, even though he got paid. All he had to do was read it out and to keep it moving. No one cares. But he was so worried about how people perceive him that he can't see the bigger picture. So now he's being gifted subs by obvious trolls. And he's okay with that because he feels like it's going to help his image. When instead, when that month is up, he won't be able to maintain it. Neither will his channel. So if he doesn't fall down to the 404s where he was at before, he might drop down into the 3s. Oh, I gotta tell you, the guy's a gift that keeps on giving. It really is.
Whatever. Doesn't hurt anything, so I don't care.
Give their money. Give their money. Let the green roll in. Shout out to Winter Wolfie. Winter Wolfie tipped me $5, and I'm $5 richer. So thanks, moron.
You are the top tipper for the day, Winter Wolfie. Thank you very much. By the way, I will be updating the stream stats at the end of this shout-out segment, just that we're very heavily into the shout-outs right now. So Winter Wolfie tipped me $5 and says, Phil, don't take this the wrong way.
Wait a second, you can't type and talk at the same time? I'm just asking.
But I originally found out about you via hate and detractors, but I've actually grown fond of you, and I'm very sorry if saying this makes you upset, but you're a wonderful streamer. Keep doing what you love. You know what, Winter Wolfie? You've upset me greatly by calling me a wonderful streamer. How dare you? What you were supposed to do is spit on me and slap me around, treat me like a
Whore.
A horrible, downtrodden...
I mean, if that's what she's into... Not to say that Cat would be into that.
in person and call me a peon, and,
Shit.
then you were supposed to head out and make a million detractor videos about me. So, how dare you? Now, obviously, Winter Wolfie, thank you very much for the tip. I appreciate that. And obviously, thank you for the kind words. You're not the first, and you certainly won't be the last. The sad fact is, Winter Wolfie, you are the exception to the rule. All right, you are. You're the exception to the rule. And what I mean by that, okay, is that there are a bunch of people who watch negative stuff about me, and they say, man, that Phil is a piece of crap. I believe everything I hear on the internet. I'll never watch him. And in fact, I'm not going to join in on calling him a jerk and insulting him and slandering his name on the internet constantly. All right? But then there are people who will see it and they're like, now wait a minute. This sounds too ludicrous to be true, right? It just sounds too ridiculous. I want to do a little bit of research for myself and figure out what's going on. And then some of those people will come to my streams and they'll say, well, you know what? I don't really like Phil. This isn't my cup of tea, but I'm glad that at least I checked it out to get it from the horse's mouth, and that's perfectly fine. But then there's some people, and I guess you're one of the Winter Wolfie, who they come over and they say, wow, I'm watching Phil's stream, and this really, if you actually watch the raw stream instead of just this highly edited video that cherry picks certain moments, wow, this actually is not anything like how they portray Phil.
I know you're lying.
Yeah, I was about to say, that sounds like stroking for the sake of stroking. Even, let's give Phil the benefit of the doubt and say Wolfie really feels that way. Okay, fair enough. How often does a Wolfie come around? Not very often. how often is it that someone who used to follow Phil falls from the punch, you know what I mean, sobers up, has what most alcoholics would consider a moment of clarity, and realizes, you know what, Phil really is a bad person. I fought for him all these years for nothing. Way more than people who think you're an alright guy. And you know that, Phil. Now, here's the real thing. This is just something that I've been kind of I've been thinking about, I've been conjuring up for a little while now. The real shame of it is, Phil, and I'm sure you would agree with me because I know you're watching, is that just imagine how powerful you could have been, or you could be now, if you had detractors on your side. Now, let me paint you guys a scheme. Imagine what it would be like if Phil had Volt Boy, David Davison, S. Julius Cruz, Homology 101, D, and anybody else who just really kind of is really good at molding his gameplay and turned it into something exciting and did it on Phil's behalf. Just imagine for people who want to engage with Phil, or people who would be willing to defend them, like a Brightside Viking. Just imagine if you had Argent, Theo, and Almighty Tevin essentially willing to do Kumite or Bloodsport to debate against anybody else who was going up against Phil. Anybody who had a bad thing to say about Phil, they'd be willing to have a Kumite and debate it out. I'll just use those two aspects. Just imagine how powerful Phil would be if he could have that. That's scary. That's scary. You know what I mean? You have people who would be willing and who have real talent that can turn your shitty gameplay into masterpieces. And you would have people who could debate against just about anybody, defending you and your actions and your shitty business. Just imagine that. If Phil could have that, he would. If he could have that. He can't. He won't. But just imagine if he could. Just imagine in a crazy, gout-ridden Twilight Zone type situation where that was the situation itself. Where all of your favorite detractors were actually on Phil's side. It's kind of scary, ain't it? Still, I think somewhere deep down in Phil's mindset and his and deep in his subconscious, he would I'm sure he imagines what life could have been like if he had that. If he really did. You know, I'm not talking about Brightside Vikings and KGs. I'm talking about people who generally other people like and who can actually hold their own, not only individually, but together. Just saying. That'd be quite an interesting situation. DSP News.
You know, yeah, he rages, but that's not the majority of his gameplay sessions. He actually is personable. He has fun conversations with his viewers.
You're approachable. What? Shut up.
I'm good at lying.
Horrible.
You know, he does shout-outs on a regular basis. He's very positive about gaming in general. It's
You gotta pay for those shout-outs, so that doesn't count.
just every once in a while he gets a little riled up about something. Maybe he gets stuck on a part of a game and he rages, but that's not the majority of what he does. What a gross misrepresentation that these people do on a regular basis. Now, I wonder why they do that, and of course they do research and figure out, oh, because YouTube is a place where if you only focus on the negative, you get popular. If you make negative, dramatic videos on YouTube,
Stop being a drama queen.
YouTube actually has a search engine and an algorithm system that pushes those videos to the forefront. So right now, I'm playing Bloodborne the Redemption run, and I'm doing way better this time around than I did on my first playthrough. But immediately, people are making negative... Phil sucks at Bloodborne even now. Here it is. Here's the highlights. And they just show the 10 times that I die. Right? And that video will get...
Or when you're staring at the stream chat so they can hold your hand through it. Don't forget that. That's important.
pushed to the front of YouTube search results, and people will find that video before they ever watch my Bloodborne Redemption run playthrough, because that's how YouTube works. It's a negative, toxic cesspool.
I mean, you're the one who, at times, disable likes and dislikes, and your comment section is inaccessible. It's engagement, Phil. It helps. Just saying. The more you know.
It's their own fault that their web.
And then, right, if you really look at it, think about why he doesn't have his comment section up there. He doesn't have his comment section available because he's butthurt that people will take that, use that in his videos, or use that in videos against him. Yet, I can go on Twitter at any given time, and I can have quotes that are taken from his stream chat just regularly circulating. No problem. Don't even have to look for it. I can find it. It's just there. So what are you really trying to protect, Phil? If you don't care about YouTube, then maybe you should just let the comment section roll. Just saying. It's not even a matter of because people are going to go over there and clip it. I'm just saying it would help you with engagement. I mean, unless you like having 300 or 400 views on a video. I mean, you know, whatever it takes to pay the bills, right, Phil? Just saying.
It's like it's toxic and falling apart because they made it that way with their own algorithms, okay? So the bottom line is, I'm not surprised that there are people who hate me, but the vast majority of them are grossly misinformed, and Winter Wolfie, you are the exception to the rule. You came over and started watching this stuff on your own and enjoyed it, and thank you for that, and thank you for the tip. I appreciate that.
If only 1 out of 10 people who saw the negative shit about me actually gave me a chance, I would be incredibly popular. What?
I'm sorry, Phil. Where's the numbers that support that? Not at all. Not at all. Because let's play his game. So let's say 1 out of 10 people who are fans of detractors became fans of his and went over there. Okay, fair enough. Phil would ban 4 out of 10 and just turn them into detractors, which is what he's doing now. I don't have the exact numbers. You should go to EddieB43 for that. But but I would assume the numbers would play around close to that statistic. So how are you winning exactly, Phil? Just saying. Just trying to get an understanding. All right.
What? What the shit? What? Oh my god!
What the fuck? Whoa! Whoa!
Oh my god! Oh my god! What was that? What was that? That was the messiest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. What the fuck? What the fuck? Are you fucking serious? What? What? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh my god.
You know, for as long as I've been watching Snort Burnell videos, and as I will continue to in the foreseeable future, I didn't realize exactly how limited Phil's range is. I never really took any account to it up till now. Snort Burnell's great. Snort Burnell's great. But well, in all seriousness, Phil's range is really, really limited. Wow. I don't know, Phil. It couldn't hurt to pick up a book. Just saying. Speaking of which, actually, a friend of mine, Epic Beard, James the Lesser Express Lane. He's actually written a couple books. I'm gonna order a few of them. You should consider picking up one, Phil. Just saying. I would send you the link throughout, over Twitter, but I'm banned. So, just saying. I'll go through somebody else to send it to you. You might want to look into it. Just saying.
Oh my god. It's terrible. I'm a realist. That's 100% a lie. A silver-tongued talker, right? Oh, I'm just going to say it one way, and hopefully you'll believe it, even though that's not the truth. And that's literally what's happening here. The guy's a liar. The guy's a fucking blatant liar and lying to everyone. But people are believing it because they don't know any better. People think I'm like the dumbest person or something. I'm not. I'm actually way more educated, and I know way more about business than most people who use fucking YouTube.
Despite the fact that you have a failing YouTube channel and a Twitch channel that's in steady decline, that trolls are propping it up. Yeah, he's quite the businessman. He got me beat.
I know you're lying. I'm good at lying. Unbelievable.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. What a complete idiot.
But the bottom line is, some people are just too gullible. They see this stuff and they're like, well, this video says this guy's terrible. All I see is terrible stuff in this video. It must be true. You know, there are people out there who think I'm terrible at Street Fighter, despite the fact there is concrete evidence.
I mean, you're terrible at games. In general. Saying that you're terrible at Street Fighter, you're starting to become terrible. But then that's because you're getting older and you didn't take care of yourself. So, you know, your reflexes aren't there, reactions are slower, eyesight is probably going out. If he can't dictate them, if he can't control the match from the early on, he's screwed. His adaptability also is becoming more and more apparent that it's just not there anymore, if it ever was. So, like, I mean, time's merely just catching up to him. You can go ahead and he can kind of talk up his past glories all he wants. Excuse me. But unlike an Achilles, for example, you know, or an Alexander the Great, you know, they died in their prime. Phil is slowly but surely and I shudder to call it skill, but Phil's skills are dying out in real time, and he just can't accept it. So, it's whatever.
Concrete evidence of tournament results and.
Is he horrible at Street Fighter? No. Is he going to be in a couple years? Is it going to be much harder for him to hold up? I think so. Like, when 30th Anniversary Collection comes out, we'll see. We'll see how well he holds up. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how long those really, really old combos can keep up in a day and age where people have seen thousands upon thousands of videos of matches and have figured ways out of it. You know what I mean? And then we'll hear what kind of excuses he has. Whether it's lag, whether it's his controller, whether they're cheating, whether they're stream sniping, and so on and so forth. So, we'll see.
Hundreds, if not thousands of matches of me playing well in Street Fighter on the internet, but people want to just believe that I'm bad at it just so they can have their negative jollies and have their overdramatic negative videos on YouTube. So, it is what it is, guys. Yeah, I'm a gamer!
I actually apologize, guys, because I think most of these subs are gifted that are now subs to the channel. FYI. We've got Low Tier God, Evo, Twitch, Ludwig, and Sonichu 1982. All subscribe to the channel, and I believe they're all gifted subs. If I could get down on my hands and knees and say thank you and still be on camera, I would do it. Okay? I seriously would do it.
Jesus Christ, that's sad.
Kalbasa just cheered and said, do you want to play the fucking game, DSP?
Do you want to play the fucking game? I do eventually, but I have to get through shoutouts first, Kalbasa. That's how it works. That's how interactive streamings work, you know? A lot of people don't realize that. Just like people are now whining. Yes, they're whining, but Phil, he's doing a redemption run.
You're getting... How do you... Alright. We'll let that go. Getting butthurt over nothing.
Bloodborne, but he's talking to stream chat. He's talking to stream chat during the playthrough. It's supposed to be a redemption run. He's not supposed to talk to stream chat.
I'm not a whiny baby. I'm a mature adult. And I'm not a children's entertainer.
And it's like, are you serious? Like, guys, all right, this is not a big news flash or an update. It was over a year ago.
Oh, boy.
Over a year ago, I changed up my streaming schedule. And I changed up my streaming style. And I made it now that I'm an interactive streamer on Twitch. And this is my focus. This is what I want to do moving forward. All right?
Money grubbing beggar. I may be living month to month, paycheck to paycheck, begging for fucking tips and shit on stream for the rest of my life. And the bottom line is, that's how it works. That's how you're successful on Twitch.
I've learned this firsthand, trust me, after years of streaming and not doing that. years of trying to put myself in an isolation chamber and ignore stream chat and stuff when I play games, it doesn't work. It's a waste. It's a huge waste of interactivity and a resource that you can have to make stuff better on stream.
Resource meaning ATM. No one told you to treat early Twitch as if you were sitting down recording a YouTube video. No one told you to do that. You did that yourself, which was stupid. Which was very stupid, to be honest with you. Because if they wanted to just watch you play a particular game without any real interaction, they just watch your YouTube videos. This was supposed to be a chance for Phil Burnell, Darkside Phil, DSP, to kind of connect with his fan base in a way that they normally don't get to. I don't understand. I don't know how you missed the point of that. I just don't know. It's like, this stuff isn't hard, man. It really isn't. For someone who was valedictorian, you should, I mean, you have common sense, right? You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And then you quit that, by the way, which is what you are. You're a quitter. And put yourself in the situation that you're in now. What are you going to do?
Now I know that, and I learned that a year ago when you guys convinced me of doing it. And I tried out.
I was like, wow, this is...
They convinced you to do it. They essentially paid you to do it. They had to pay you to do that. Because Phil is one of these people who only reacts to positivity, especially when it benefits him. So he doesn't do anything to help the stream chat. And Phil, I'll say that honestly, you don't. You don't do anything for anybody else unless it benefits you first and foremost. And even when it benefits you first and foremost and you get the best payoff of it, you still don't give anything to anybody else. That's the reason why your streams are dying out. It's the reason why it went from your fan base having to throw money out to inflate your sub count to now that the trolls are doing it just for the entertainment purposes. It doesn't look good, man. It really don't.
much better.
And people have overwhelmingly told me in the last year.
And why would you force that laugh? Like, that's the reason why like, when you listen to old stuff from Phil and you listen to new stuff, I know most people are like, oh, no, he has a better mic, or, oh, no, his soundproofing, whatever. Nah, he just shitted his voice up. He really did. His voice is horrible now. It's really, really bad. I mean, it was bad before, but it's really, really bad now. I guess.
That my gameplay content is far better now than it had been for years before, because that isolation kind of playthrough doesn't work anymore, alright? People want to be more...
You mean like you spamming YouTube with 20 or 30 videos a day? And yet you still do it? And yet the payoff is less and less and less? To the point where detractors watch more of your videos than anything else? Well, that might not necessarily be true. Most detractors just download your videos. It's so much easier, and that you don't have to worry about giving Phil the view, or if you do, you only have to give it to him once.
Positive. People want that interactivity. People want that. They don't just want oh wow, it's just Phil sitting in a room by himself playing a video game. They want Phil is interactive with the internet and having fun and joking and all kinds of funny stuff going on while Phil plays games. That's what they want. All right. So,
since when have you ever been concerned about what people want, though? Are you concerned about what Kat wants? Are you concerned at the fact that she actually, well, allegedly, wants to have a relationship and actually spend time and not worry about getting up, making you breakfast, going to work, coming home, cleaning up, making dinner, and then spending the rest of her endless, and I would assume, rather lonely nights playing Overwatch? Just saying, Phil. I'm sure that that seat up there is getting rather cold, bruh. I'm sure her side of the bed is rather cold too. At least the other side of that pillow. Just saying, you don't warm it up, a better man will. Just a piece of advice.
No, guys, sorry. This is not Bloodborne. Phil sits in an isolation booth playthrough. All right, it's just not gonna happen. All right, it's not gonna happen. It's
that was a position you put yourself in, though. That's nobody's fault but your own. So you can't get mad if they've been, essentially acclimated and conditioned to that's all they expect from you. You can't get mad about something like that. Similar, I wouldn't say similar because what's going on with Baked Alaska is a whole different story in its own right. But we'll talk about that another time. Jesus Christ.
2018.
I'm gay, totally gay.
Things have changed. So
I'll say this: if you guys really want to see something rather entertaining, and you can catch all of it because it's happening in real time, look up Mr. Medicare versus Baked Alaska currently. That shit's whole and really pay attention to the story. That shit's crazy. That shit is so fucking crazy. Jesus Christ.
Oh, there you have it. And you can sit and whine and stamp your feet and you can flop your jowls as much as you want. The playthrough ain't gonna change, alright? The bottom line is, people are enjoying the playthrough, deal with it. Shout out to Chewbacca, and he says, have you ever thought about doing an all-star co-op with a big-time YouTuber or streamer like Angry Joe? It would boost your viewers. Like do it with like Ninja did with Drake. Dude, Chewbacca, do you not realize no one wants to co-op with me?
Lol.
The only people who want to collab with me are people who just don't care about negativity. People who have a public internet persona already are not going to want to do co-op with me because they know what happens. They know the sick community of people who follow me around. People who I have no association with and want nothing to do with, but they follow me no matter what, like a swarm of flies, all right? Like a pestilence. They follow me around negatively with toxic crap.
Pestilence. I don't know. I like swarm of locusts. I might be okay with that. I might not necessarily be okay with taking people's firstborns. But, you know, I guess you do what you got to do if you don't let my people go. Just something to think about, Phil.
So they know, oh wow, Phil's going to do a collab with someone.
Here at GTG here at GTG Network and Productions, we don't condone taking people's firstborns. Just for the record. Just saying.
Immediately that person would be like lambasted
But Phil, you should really let my people go.
and attacked, alright?
Oh,
so,
boy.
no one's going to do that. It's time to wake up, dude. Shout out to Rave Comic.
Who cheered and said, stop being interactive and trying to be a good streamer. Stop that. Okay. How about you fucking use some creativity and some skill instead of just copying everyone else and proving that you're a hack? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's all about talent. It's all about talent. Oh my god. It's terrible. What you've seen is me sitting around with my thumb up my ass. I'm gonna fight as hard as I possibly can, folks.
What's this obsession with Phil and people in his chat just sticking stuff in the orifices? Am I the only one that's actually noticed that? It seems like the strangest thing. And we've all seen over the last couple of weeks what his chat's into. To each their own. But, I mean, Phil's no better. He's got this... He's always using some type of crazy-ass metaphor about sticking something up his ass. Missing Kimberly already.
To make sure that things stay as they are.
Oh, that's great.
Why? How dare I be interacting? I gotta stop immediately and go back to my old ways. I will ignore all of you completely. Yeah. How dare I? How dare I actually try to be entertaining?
What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Help!
Alright, there we go. So, yeah, that was great. But then again, it's Snort Burnell. Wouldn't expect anything less. Alright, guys. So, look what we got here. We got some other videos coming up. Good shit. I really need to probably make a video on that Bully Hunters thing. That thing was hilarious. Worst cash grab ever. Anyway. Alright, guys. So, Phil has talked about what he thinks about the tractors, about people who migrate over to him and giving him a chance. That's all Phil wants. Probably should have asked for that years ago. Then again, would he really have been worth it? Couldn't have told you. And, yeah, Phil just drinking his own Kool-Aid. He is what he preaches, I suppose. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on at GTG Networks and Productions. Jesus Christ. Network and Productions. I am your host / anchor, GTG. I'm signing off. Into broadcast. Jesus Christ. I cannot talk today. Yeet.